Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I bring you a truly special story, a stormy, passionate love story between LyTuDiep and CEO James. A love that isn't just about sweetness and happiness, but also filled with pain, heartbreak, and moments of breathtaking tension. In today's episode, Diep suddenly falls gravely ill, and her condition becomes life-threatening. The entire company is in shock, her friends are worried, and James, the strong, cold, and composed man everyone knows, finally can't hide his fear and despair as he watches the woman he loves lying motionless on the hospital bed. He cancels every meeting, every schedule, leaving everything behind just to stay by her side, every minute, every second. The sound of the heart monitor echoes through the sterile room, and the pale hospital light falls on his face, that of a successful man crumbling under the weight of possible loss. As for Diep, the brave woman who once stood by James through countless storms, now lies silently between the thin line of life and death. Memories of their happiest days, the promises they made, the dreams they never got to fulfill, all replay like a slow-motion film in James's mind. He can only hold her cold hand tightly and whisper through his trembling voice. "Diep, please wake up. I still haven't told you how much I love you." Will this powerful love be strong enough to pull Diep back from the brink of death? Will a miracle happen at the very moment hope seems lost? Everything will be revealed in today's video, so don't miss a single moment. Join me to experience the full depth of emotions in this story, when true love proves it can overcome every limit, even death itself. The afternoon sun shone softly through the window, spreading a gentle golden light across the little house. A breeze swayed the white curtain, carrying with it the faint fragrance of flowers from the porch. The air was peaceful, only the chirping of birds and the soft scratching sound of a pencil on paper could be heard. Little Nee sat neatly at her study desk, her round eyes focused on a notebook filled with drawings of adorable animals. "What's this one, Nee?" Ms. Diep asked gently. "It's a cat," the girl replied, her face lighting up. "Good job. And what about this one?" "That's a bunny. It has long ears." Diep smiled and gently brushed her hand through the girl's soft hair. Her eyes glowed with affection, the tender gaze of someone teaching a child about the small wonders of life. As she colored, Nee giggled. "Teacher, can I color the cat's shirt pink?" "Of course, sweetheart. Any color is beautiful as long as you paint it with love." The little girl's laughter filled the room, blending with Diep's calm, loving voice, creating a warm melody of family and care. When the lesson ended, Diep sat beside me to read a fairy tale. With every page turned and every story told, Nee's bright eyes sparkled with wonder and joy. That afternoon drifted by like a dream. No rain, no storms, only two hearts, one big, one small, building together a little corner of happiness. Amid the chaos of the world, that humble home was still filled with laughter. A place of peace and warmth that Diep and Nee simply called home. Late afternoon. The once blue sky had turned into a heavy shade of ash gray. The wind began to rise, sweeping through the trees outside and scattering leaves across the porch. What started as a light drizzle quickly turned into a pounding storm, raindrops lashing hard against the glass windows. The world outside grew darker by the minute, while the warm yellow light from little Nee's study room remained, a small, peaceful glow amidst the approaching tempest. Inside that small room, little Nee sat obediently at her desk, her tiny legs swinging gently beneath the chair. In front of her was a coloring book filled with cute animal drawings. "Teacher Diep, can I color the cat pink?" Nee asked, tilting her head up, her bright eyes sparkling. Diep smiled softly, setting her teacup down on the table, her gaze full of tenderness. "Of course, sweetheart. Any color is beautiful as long as you color it with your heart." No sooner had she spoken than thunder cracked outside, loud and fierce, a flash of lightning illuminating the window pane. Inside, Nee flinched, but Diep smiled reassuringly. "It's okay, dear. Just the rain." But as Diep bent down to organize some notebooks, she suddenly froze. Her vision blurred, her heartbeat quickened. She pressed a hand to her head, breathing rapidly. "Ms. Diep, what's wrong?" Nee stammered, her small voice trembling. Diep tried to smile, but only managed for a moment. Her body swayed, and then collapsed to the floor. "Teacher? Ms. Diep. Please wake up." Nee's panicked cry pierced through the storm. Thunder roared again, even louder this time. The window burst open, rain gushed in, soaking the wooden floor and scattering papers everywhere. Terrified, Nee ran to Diep's side, shaking her desperately, but she wouldn't wake. Just then, the front door slammed open. James appeared, drenched, breathless, his face stricken with fear. He had just rushed home from an urgent company meeting. Nee's frightened call over the phone had sent him racing through the storm. "Diep." His voice broke as he fell to his knees beside her, pulling her limp body into his arms. Her breathing was shallow, her lips pale. He could feel the icy chill of her skin. "No, no, you can't do this. Diep, can you hear me? Please open your eyes." He called her name again and again, but there was no response. In a rush, he wrapped her in a thin blanket and lifted her up. Nee burst into tears, clutching his sleeve. "Uncle, what's wrong with her? She won't wake up." James gently placed a hand on her head, his voice trembling. "Stay here, lock the door. I'll take her to the hospital. Don't be afraid, I'll bring her back." He dashed out into the raging storm. The wind howled so violently it nearly knocked him off balance, but James held Diep tightly against his chest. His footsteps splashed through the flooded road as headlights flashed faintly ahead through the sheets of rain. Inside the car, the wipers beat furiously. Thunder crashed overhead, rain hammered down like thousands of fists. James gripped the steering wheel, knuckles white, his whole body trembling. He muttered over and over, almost praying. "Hang on, Diep, don't leave me. Don't leave our child. Please, just open your eyes, I'll do anything, I swear." The dashboard lights flickered. Water covered the road, the car skidded dangerously, but he kept going. He turned the headlights to full beam, cutting through the downpour, racing down a road now swallowed by the storm. Back at the house, little Nee sat by the window, clutching her teddy bear, tears streaming down her face as she watched the car's lights fade into the stormy night. Outside, thunder rumbled endlessly, as if the heavens themselves were echoing the turmoil inside James's heart. And in that stormy night, Diep's battle for life, and James's desperate fight for love, had just begun. ChatGPT de NOI. Late at night. The cold white light of the hospital lamp spilled across the tiled floor, reflecting the exhausted face of James. The heart monitor beeped steadily, beep, 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 a dry, mechanical sound, yet the only thing keeping him calm in this endless night. Diep lay motionless on the hospital bed. Her face was pale, her lips cracked and dry, her eyes closed. And 4 needle pierced her arm, and the medicine dripped slowly, silently, as if time itself had stopped moving. The doctor entered, speaking softly but firmly. "Her condition worsened due to the sudden change in weather. Her body is frail, and the illness is hereditary from her mother. It's chronic, not something to underestimate. We've administered medication and fluids, but she'll need to be monitored overnight." James nodded faintly, eyes red with fatigue. "I know. Diep's been sick since childhood, but she hid it from me. She didn't want me to worry." Lately, she's been under so much pressure from work, staying up late. I should have noticed sooner. The doctor placed a hand on his shoulder. Try to stay strong. She needs someone close by her side right now. When the doctor left, silence returned. Outside, rain still pattered softly against the windows. The wind howled through the corridor, making the night feel even lonelier. James pulled a chair close to the bed and took Diep's hand, small, cold, and fragile. Suddenly, she stirred. Her eyelids fluttered open, and tears rolled slowly down her cheeks. Her voice trembled as she whispered, "James, I'm so tired. I don't think I can make it this time." He immediately gripped her hand tighter, voice breaking. "Don't say that. I'm right here. I won't let you go. You have to fight, for me, and for our child." When the nurse came in to give her pain medication, Diep winced, her shoulders trembling. James stood beside her, holding her hand, whispering gently, "It's okay, it'll be over soon. I'm here, just breathe." Her tears fell silently, and he bowed his head, hiding his own, eyes red and glistening with restrained sorrow. Later, when she finally drifted off to sleep, James quietly stepped out. He went to the hospital canteen, bought some rice and eggs, and asked the night guard if he could use the small stove to cook porridge. The simple smell of warm rice filled the cold night air, plain, but full of love. He carried the steaming bowl back to her room, blew it cool, and gently fed her spoon by spoon when she woke. "Eat a little, okay? I made this myself. It's not as good as your cooking, but I want you to get your strength back." Diep looked at him, her eyes blurred with tears. She nodded softly, her voice faint. "Thank you, for always being here." James smiled weakly, brushing a hand over her forehead. "As long as you get better, nothing else matters." That night, as the hospital fell silent and the world slept, James remained by her bedside. He washed her towel and clothes, hung them neatly to dry, then sat back down to wipe her hands and forehead with infinite care, every motion slow and gentle, as if afraid to hurt her. The white light shone down on his face, weary, yet steadfast. In that cold, lonely night, the man sat there, silently watching the woman he loved breathe faintly, his heart aching with helpless tenderness. No vows, no roses, only quiet devotion. James's love for Diep was shown not through words, but through sleepless nights, unspoken prayers, and silent tears that fell upon the hand of the woman he refused to let go. And in that stillness of the hospital night, their love glowed faintly, fragile, but bright enough to chase away the darkness. That morning, the sky was clear and gentle. Soft sunlight streamed through the window, casting a warm glow on the small dining table where Mrs. Huynh, James's mother, was carefully preparing rice porridge for little Nee. In the cozy kitchen, steam rose from the pot, carrying the fragrant scent of jasmine rice, scallions, minced pork, and vegetables, the simple, comforting aroma of a peaceful family morning. Little Nee sat at the table, her chin resting on her palms, eyes distant and sad. When Mrs. Huynh placed a steaming bowl of porridge before her, the child still didn't reach for the spoon. "Come on, sweetheart, eat a little. Grandma made it just for you. It's delicious." Her voice was tender, full of affection. Nee shook her head slightly, lips trembling. After a long pause, she whispered softly, "Grandma, I miss Ms. Diep so much." Mrs. Huynh froze for a moment. Her kind eyes grew sorrowful, but she soon smiled gently, brushing a soft strand of hair from the child's face. "Ms. Diep is just a bit sick, dear. She needs to stay in the hospital for a few days. Once she feels better, she'll come back to play with you right away." Tears welled up in Nee's eyes, her small shoulders quivering. "But she promised, she said she'd tell me a fairy tale today." Then why don't we call her? The grandmother said softly, pulling out her phone and starting a video call. A moment later, the screen lit up. Diep's face appeared, pale, but smiling. Behind her sat James, who nodded warmly toward his mother. "Hello, Mom." "Hello, my little girl," Diep greeted, her voice weak but full of warmth. Nee burst into tears, her voice breaking. "Ms. Diep. I miss you so much. Please come home." Diep raised her hand to the screen, as if trying to wipe away the child's tears through the distance. "Don't cry, my love. I miss you too. But I need to stay here a few more days so the doctors can help me get better. Once I'm healthy, I'll come home to you, okay?" Nee nodded, tears still on her cheeks, but a small smile returned. "Promise?" "Promise." Diep smiled again, her eyes glowing with tenderness. Beside them, Mrs. Huyn watched quietly, an old woman, a child, a mother far away, and a daughter waiting at home, her heart full of emotion. James looked at his mother and said softly, "Don't worry, Mom. I'll take good care of Diep. When she recovers, we'll come home to visit you and me." After the call ended, Nee hugged the phone to her chest, smiling faintly. Mrs. Huyn scooped up another spoonful of porridge and said gently, "Now eat up, my dear. You need to be strong so we can welcome Ms. Diep home." The little girl nodded, taking the spoon and eating slowly, obediently. Outside, the sun had climbed higher, spilling golden light through the window and wrapping the small home in warmth. In that simple morning atmosphere, love still flowed, overcoming distance and illness, binding together hearts that longed for one another. Outside the hospital window, the afternoon sky had turned a heavy shade of gray. Rain poured down in sheets as if trying to swallow the entire city. The wind howled, flinging icy droplets against the glass, making the white curtain flutter faintly in the draft. Inside, the pale hospital lights reflected off James's tense yet composed face, the face of a man who hadn't left the bedside of the woman he loved. Diep leaned weakly against the pillow, her skin pale, her lips dry, her eyes weary. She gazed out the window, watching flashes of lightning bloom and vanish within seconds. The air carried the sterile scent of disinfectant mixed with the damp earth from outside the hallway. James had just returned from buying food, a light meal recommended by the doctor, oatmeal porridge, boiled vegetables, and apple juice. He opened the container, gently blew on a spoonful, and brought it close to her lips, his voice calm and tender, like warm water. "Eat a little, okay? You need your strength." The doctor said no more skipping meals. Diep smiled faintly, her eyes tired but filled with affection. "You don't have to do all this. I just need a little rest, I'll be fine soon." James shook his head, smiling softly yet with firm resolve, the kind that comes from deep, unwavering love. "You always say that. Last time you said you were just a bit tired, then fainted in the middle of your meeting. Let me take care of you this time. You just rest." A violent gust rattled the windows, rain splattered across the glass, and thunder roared, shaking the room. James stood, drew the curtains tighter, tucked the blanket around her shoulders, and then picked up his phone to make a call. "Lynn, the temporary shelter at the construction site got damaged by the storm. Send the crew to reinforce it immediately. Use stronger beams, I don't want anyone getting hurt out there." Lynn's voice crackled through the line, anxious but steady. "Yes, I understand, sir. It's raining heavily, but I'll send the team right now." James nodded slightly, his eyes still on Diep. "I can't be there, so please double-check everything for me. I need to stay here, she needs me." When the call ended, he exhaled deeply, set the phone down, and turned back to her. He fed her a few more spoonfuls of porridge, each movement slow and careful. Diep ate quietly, a faint smile returning to her lips. James didn't speak, he simply watched her, his gaze warm and steady. Outside, the storm raged on, but inside that small hospital room, it felt like a different world, one made of quiet devotion, soft light, and the unspoken strength of love. Time passed. The sky deepened into night, and the rain showed no sign of stopping. The wind whistled down the hospital corridors, sounding like the sigh of the night itself. James remained by her side, her fragile hand resting in his, faint warmth against the cold. As the clock neared midnight, the lights dimmed. The hallway outside was silent, save for the distant footsteps of a nurse fading into the dark. Diep had fallen asleep, her breathing soft and even. James watched her face, peaceful, illuminated faintly by the bedside lamp, so delicate she seemed like a flower closing its petals against the storm. He leaned closer, his voice barely a whisper, meant only for her even in sleep. "No matter what happens, I'll be here. I'll protect you, take care of you, until you're strong again. As long as you're beside me, no storm will ever scare me again." He brushed a few loose strands of hair from her forehead and turned off the light, leaving only a gentle glow, enough to reveal two silhouettes, one resting, one keeping vigil. James leaned back in the chair, still holding her hand tightly, afraid that if he let go, she might slip away once more. Outside, the rain kept falling, steady and relentless, mingling with the wind's cry and the rhythmic beep, beep, of the heart monitor. Amid the chill of that stormy night, he sat quietly, steadfast as a small flame burning through the tempest. And in that stillness, between the rain outside and the hum of machines, there were only two souls left, one asleep, one awake, sharing the same long night, keeping their love alive, a love that refused to fade, even against the storm. On the screen, the image lingers, James still sitting silently beside Diep's hospital bed, his hand clasping hers, his eyes weary yet filled with love and unwavering faith. Outside, the rain continues to fall endlessly, droplets sliding down the windowpane as if echoing the turmoil of worry and hope battling within his heart. The camera slowly pulls back. The dim light from the bedside lamp softens Diep's sleeping face, while James remains motionless, his gaze never leaving her. A gentle soundtrack begins to play, slow, melancholic, yet deeply warm. The rain keeps falling, but within that quiet room, the faintest sound, the steady rhythm of a heartbeat, becomes the most powerful one, a quiet testament to a love that refuses to fade. Then, a narrator's voice is heard, soft, calm, and full of feeling. Love, patience, and devotion in times of storm are not only remedies for the body, but also the strength that helps the soul endure every hardship. The light slowly dims, leaving only the image of their hands intertwined, steady and strong amidst the raging night. Finally, words appear gently across the darkened screen. Stay tuned for the next episode.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Hôm nay thì mình tiếp tục đưa đến với mọi người câu chuyện của mẹ đơn ấp, quản lý từ Diệp và CEO James. Đây mọi người ơi, hôm nay thì tập này mình làm thì giờ này mình làm thì Diệp đang bị ốm bệnh rất là nặng và đang phải điều trị. Thì James đã luôn ở bên cạnh cô ấy và chăm sóc cho cô. Thì khi hai người tới bệnh viện thì bé Nhi buộc phải qua nhà mẹ của James để ở. Và mong rằng bệnh của Diệp sẽ nhanh chóng hồi phục và khỏi để có thể về và đoàn tụ với Nhi và gia đình có thể vui vẻ hạnh phúc. Cảm ơn mọi người vì đã theo dõi kênh của mình. Kênh của mình thì sẽ review lại nội dung tập cũng như mang đến những câu chuyện ngoại truyện để cho mọi người hiểu rõ hơn về hai nhân vật. Hãy đón xem video của mình trong những ngày tiếp theo nhé. Tạm biệt mọi người.